Hi, welcome back. I'm Tori. A while back, the Backlogs did a video of being Dark Souls 1 with only spell tools, and the reality is the staves are incredibly good for just being glorified sticks, but does this hold up for Dark Souls 2? I want to see if the damage would be good, or would they fall short. I firmly believe that any weapon can be viable in Best Souls 2, but does that hold true for the staves and chimes? Let's find out. Since you don't start in the character creation menu, I run my decaying corpse over to the Firekeeper's house and force them to make me into a real girl. Since we'll be using spell tools only, we need a fitting name. Perfect. I choose the Sorcerer as she starts with a staff already, making us not need to get one in the future, and the Bonfire aesthetic for the near future. The Things Betwixt has nothing for me, so I go ahead and head to Majula and making sure to light the bonfire because I have forgotten to do that so many times. By hitting the rock down the well, we can also grab the first Estus Shard, and on the way to the Cardinal Tower bonfire, we can pick up a human effigy in a chest and test the strength of the staff. It's not good. The damage is fine, I've dealt with worse for sure, but the real problem is the speed. Since it's a catalyst, the moveset is limited. There is no R1, so I'm left with only R2s, which are slow, and so are the chain attacks. Another problem is the durability. Since it's just a glorified stick, it's about as fragile as one too. There is one positive, however. The reach is actually good, being able to hit multiple enemies at once. Now, I'd probably lose my mind if I had to deal with this the entire game, but luckily there's another spell tool we can get shortly. I do the last part of prep before the last giant by grabbing the second Estus Shard, and speaking of which, the last giant is, well, the last giant, aka extremely easy, if you're someone other than me. All last giant fights boil down to hitting his heel once or twice, switching to the other leg, and repeat. I only died the first time because I'm shaking off a bit of rust as it's been a bit, but after going back and actually using the second Estus Shard, I'm able to get an easy victory. I wouldn't actually be worrying about the Estus Shards that much because of Life Gem supremacy, but we will actually need all the Life Gems we can get for a fight coming up soon, and it's a fight you would not expect. After the last giant, I indulge in supporting a local business, something that you should all do, and get the blacksmith key and Life Gems to get the Serpent Ring. Once back in Majula, we can get the first Titanite Shard by raiding Moglin's attic and buy the other 5 from Lemongrass. This gets our staff to a +3, which doesn't help all that much, but damage is damage, I suppose. The next thing on our checklist is killing the Dragon Rider for some easy souls, so we head over to Hyde's and bait him into the water, which is really fucked up if you think about it, because he's wearing some heavy-ass armor, so he's sinking straight down. Once we get the easy 20k, I head to the cat and grab the cat ring and use the rest of the souls for a bit of health. And now we're going to do that all over again for more souls. This time spending them on life gems, a bright bug, life, adaptability. Now, I might be a devious little goblin, but I'm not a liar. I am, but that's irrelevant. But would you all believe me if this was set up for the next boss? She got the cat ring, so she's probably going to the Rotten. Or maybe she grabbed the cat ring, so she's going to go get the branch of the Forest Fallen Giants and go to the Shaded Woods early. Nah, this is all prep for the Royal Rat Vanguard. Yeah, this is all prep for the Royal Rat Vanguard, a boss that usually doesn't take any effort, except this was the hardest fight in the whole run. So much so that this is actually my second attempt at this run, because I lost so much due to these fucking rats. I also, set myself up poorly, but that's irrelevant. So, let's talk about the rats, and why this fight is so hard. Well, to start, the staff just sucks. I mean, even at a +3, it's so weak, only doing 75 damage if it's up close, and 50 if the enemy's a bit farther back. Not only that, but the staff is a stamina guzzler, with me only being able to get 3 attacks off before I have to let it regen. The slowness and the stamina combined often leaves me in a vulnerable position, where I go for damage but often get hit, or I prioritize defense and dodging, which makes this fight take way longer. Now, let's talk about the rats. They often group up, which is usually good for a normal build, but it's abysmal for one like mine. The normal rats will do a bit of petrification build up each attack, and if you're not careful, that's an instant kill. Same with the main rat, except he can do a large amount of poison buildup, which if you know anything about Dark Souls 2, you know that's more of a death sentence than the petrification. The main strategy is to go in when there's a low cluster of rats, preferably 1 to 3, and get a few attacks in and rinse and repeat. But that causes another problem, the durability. You need to kill 10 rats before the Vanguard comes out, and by then your weapon will be 60% broken, which then puts you in a position where your weapon might break before you're able to kill the Vanguard. There is a fix for this, however. Repair powder and another staff, both which can be picked up in the Forest of Fallen Giants. Now we say we killed the 10 rats, and then the Vanguard came out. Now the problem with the rats grouping up is worse, as the Vanguard tends to stick with a group, and that makes it impossible for us to hit him. The risk is just too high. So, instead, we wait for him to be isolated, then run behind him, or bait an attack and punish. If you get hit instead, run away and wait for the poison build to go down, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's not hard from a difficulty standpoint, just hard from an endurance standpoint. The winning fight alone took 12 minutes. Now, after we can get the main weapon of this run, let's see. The weapon is in the Grave of Saints after the Royal Rat Vanguard fight. So it's gotta be in this coffin staircase, right? But it's not here, so it's gotta be right after on the bridge that can only be accessed from the Royal Rat Vanguard. No, it's not here either. Don't tell me. I didn't need to kill the Royal Rat Vanguard! Yep, the main weapon of this run is the disc chime, and before you bitch and complain that it's a shield, here's my argument. In the name, it's called the disc chime, not the disc shield, so checkmate. I can't use it yet though, as unfortunately it's a chime and those need faith, so I head back to the Force of Fallen Giants to talk to Kale and get him to give me his house key. Inside Kale's house, we can head into the basement and kill a bony boy for a human effigy, but also get the soul vessel, which allows me to reallocate my levels so I can use the disc chime. Now, let's talk about the disc chime while I fight the pursuer. The stat requirements are pretty low, only needing 18 faith to use, and unlike the staff, it has two different attacks. The R1 being a thrusting shove-like attack, which feels kinda slow to me, and then the real attack, the R2. This attack is what I use for the majority of the run. It's a swiping bash attack that feels fast, does great damage, and hits in a sweeping motion. Despite bashing the enemy with metal, it doesn't do any physical damage. It's split between dark and lightning, which is what most bosses are weak to. So, we have an incredibly strong weapon that's fast, that also doubles as a shield. Surely there's gotta be a downside to this, and there is. Just one. And it's terrible. The hitbox. This hitbox can make some fights a real struggle. Looking at you, Vendrick. With the Pursuer dead and the Chime explained, we can go to the Lost Bastille to get the Ember and unlock Macduff, who we can buy large shards from for a +6. I wasn't feeling like taking on the Ruin Sentinels at the moment, so I decided to do the Wharf instead. Once you learn how to get through the Wharf, it's extremely easy to rush through it, and we get to see some glorious damage by one-shotting the Vengarians. The Flexile Sentry is up, and with the arena being mostly water, we get a bit of a damage buff since the Flexile Sentry is wet, and water and lightning mix well in our favor. Right at the end, here's another example of the ludicrous hitbox, but it's a simple fix with a little repositioning. With the Flexile Sentry dead, we can take to the seas and take the rear entrance to Bastille. I don't bother freeing Strayed, so I don't get the bonfire, but it doesn't matter, because across the bridge there's another bonfire right above. Taking the elevator down, I watch a hollow plummet to his death and quickly open the gate to leave the water room. The Sinner was a pretty standard fight. She's as jumpy as ever, but by dodging to her left and positioning myself behind her, I can get a few smacks in, and by repeating this strat, that's the first Great Soul down. Since we did the Royal Rat earlier, we can just take the other path down, where I grab some bone dust and head into the gutter. Once there, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, and get into the gulch. I have no intention of farming the rod, so I don't bother grabbing the closer bonfire, and out of all the bosses, the rod is probably the boss I'm the best at besides the Giant Lord. So tell me why I died! Yeah, I got hit by his Dark Blast and pushed into the fire. The run is actually incredibly easy, just always leave enough stamina to roll, and try and position yourself to his side or back, and you shouldn't have a problem with him. Another Great Soul down. Whoops, I made an oopsie and forgot to press record, so now you're gonna get a really bad MS Paint video of what happened in the 10-15 minutes of me not recording. I use a stick to free the lady stuck in stone. I grab a Titanite chunk from the Shaded Woods. I beat up Man Scorpion Tark to get the second Dragon Crest ring, and then I do the same thing for Nashka. After Nashka, I quickly ran through the Doors of Pharaoh, and we can see yet another perk of the Chime that comes into play later. The R2 attack that I primarily use for damage can't be angled, so for hitboxes low to the ground, I'm looking at you, Vendrick. We miss. However, the R1 thrust can be angled, so for things like crystal lizards and such, can be damaged. Brightstone Cove goes about as well as you'd expect it would, except I kill some not-so-nice blue-collar workers, and another negative that I realized about this weapon is how poor it is in fights with multiple targets, despite it being a sweeping attack. This ties into the hitbox because it's able to hit the ones that are right up against me, but if it's even a couple inches back, then the attack will miss, and you'll most likely take damage as a result. Prowling Magus and Congregation showed me a bit of trouble than I thought. Most enemy dies within 1 stamina bar of attacks, but these guys were, nah, I'm fucking kidding with you guys. It's the Congregation, what'd you expect? But they gave me a slab, so I guess that's pretty useful. After that fight, you can grab another chunk next to the man spider, and another 3 right in the spike garden. The Duke's Tier fray usually works like this. One-hand your weapons, so you can have your torch out, however, that doesn't work in this run. I didn't mention this originally, but the disc chime needs to be in your left hand to attack with, and since that's the hand your torch goes into, that means no torch and more spiders. But it's not that big of a problem as I'm making it out to seem. Simply just target the spiders and dodge Freya. But I did not follow my own advice because I kept getting hit with her fucking laser. Once the spiders are dealt with, I focus on one of the heads until it falls off, and then the other one. With her down, don't forget to embrace the Great Soul, which I didn't forget to do because I've beaten this game like 20 plus times, and wouldn't forget to do something so minute. And kill the Duke, because you can. With the Duke dead, I use my souls to level up again and get the Chime to a +10. With 3 Great Souls, the only thing that was left is the Iron King, but there's quite a few bosses in between him and me at the moment. To get to the cops, we need to kill a grifter because I am not wasting my hard-earned souls for a wall to rotate. Like all the other NPCs, she has over 2,000 health, which makes this fight take a little longer than I expected, because she kept healing it off. With her dead and my soul saved, we head for the cops. Nothing to really do here except grab the bonfire, lower the bridge, kill an invader, grab a key, and free my murderous, one of many Dark Souls crushes. The bum party was simple, just keep whacking and you'll win, just don't kill all the skeleton lords at once. Harvest Valley is quick as I run past everything in my way, except for killing some sorceresses to pull a lever for the door below. Jabba the Hutt was really easy, since he's even lazier than usual, just rolling and flopping around over and over. The tower part of Harvest Valley went pretty quick too, just up a few ladders, around some corners, and into a bonfire room. This Mytha fight was probably the best Mytha fight I've ever had, just solely on how little attack she did. She mainly only ever dodged my attacks and just moved around me, and with the stagger in the middle of the fight, it was over way too quickly. Finally arriving at Iron Keep and only 2 bosses to go, surely I won't die over and over again trying to get to the Smelter Demon. God, I fucking hate Iron Keep. Another rule for the Chime is do not fight on elevated spaces. You will miss 99% of the attacks. The Alone Knights are very easily killed, however. They have 3 punishes against you. 1, they are often quicker than you. 2, you cannot chain attack them as you will most likely push them back too far. And 3, they work in numbers. All these negatives work against you, making this area very risky. After trying to slowly clear out the area way too many times, I said fuck it and just ran through the area and, well, I made it. That's not supposed to happen. The captain waited till the last minute to attack, so thank you, Lone Knight. Strawberry Smelter Demon has a 30% in both lightning and dark, making me do about 40% of my regular damage. But I'm still doing insane amounts of damage to him. In the second phase, when his immolation starts, the best thing to do is use a life gem or 2 to negate the fire damage, but otherwise, just keep your distance unless you're attacking him, and he'll go down easily. The second half of the keep is much easier to take your time with, since the enemies kind of die out. After recreating the Anor Londo rafters, I'm able to make it to the bonfire room. Out of all the Great Souls, the Iron King is by far the easiest, as the fight boils down to just hide and wait for the fist slam or laser and repeat. After all the Great Souls are embraced, my bestie Alia comes out to say hi, so stick around to chat before heading to the Shrine of Winter. With the Great Souls, we can open up the Shrine of Winter and... wait, what? Seek mightier souls. Don't forget to embrace the Great Soul, which I didn't forget to do, because I've beaten this game like 20 plus times, and wouldn't forget to do something so minute. Fuck. Now with all the souls, we can open up the Shrine of Winter. To get into the castle, we need to activate the Soul Giants, and by running up against the archers, we can get them to go into melee to follow me next to the golem. Except if you get cornered and die. But your progress saves you can do it again if you don't die. You're cutting it too close past me. Too close. Downstairs, I killed the stone soldier to the right and through the door to get the first DLC key. Once in the range, just follow the path and pass the queen to get to the twin dragon riders. So let's bait the melee guy to knock down his friend, and that's good damage. Oh, and 3 hits. Yeah, the archer was squishy. Someone hadn't leveled vigor. I'd say the main guy was like the first dragon rider, but I didn't actually fight him, so I just hit him till he died. Like, I know it's the dragon riders and all, but this damage is so good. It's wonderful. Afterwards, we can quickly get the elevator down by climbing up the ladder, baiting a mannequin towards the soul giant, killing said mannequin, homeward bone, and wait for the elevator. At the top, the first chest on the left has the key, and you can homeward bone right after you get it. I loved the Looking Glass Knight, so I was really looking forward to this fight, but I think he broke. Like, the fight was standard. I just kept circling him and hitting his back, but he never summoned at all, and just kept letting me circle and hit him. The infamous Shrine of Amana. The main talking point, too. Dark Souls 2 is just an enemy game. Level design. Bullshit hitbox. ADP. No iframes on doors and fog walls. And all I have to say about that is a skill issue. But in all seriousness, there is some truth to the complaints. However, just be patient. The first area is incredibly easy to run through if you take your time. I only died once in this section because I aggroed all 3 of the archdrakes before the fog. Just take the archdrakes out 1 or 2 at a time and watch out for the aberrations when the Milfanito stops singing. In the middle section, I targeted the mages and finally got invaded by the Forlorn, only 75% of the way through the game. After taking my time, I had to deal with the final group of enemies, and by baiting them out 1 at a time and dodging the magic, I got through the fog wall. The last part of Amana is a quick sprint past some enemies and then the boss, and Demon of Song was the Demon of Song. I mean, what is there to say? Lightning damage plus amphibian. It's like tasing a frog. Please don't actually do that. That's animal cruelty. With the Crypt unlocked, I can take a familiar-looking elevator down to see Aldia again. I let him yap away about some monarch and how his brother's running away. Like, we get it, you're a nerd. Anywho, the Crypt was as annoying as ever. I wanted to try and get the Black Witch Staff, so I killed the 2 witches in the 4th room, but I didn't get it, and I was not gonna farm for it. In the Bonfire room, we play a bit of Minesweeper, try not to ring the bells, but someone rang them anyway. I died to one of the cheating sorcerers who blew me up right as I went to Estus, but the Crypt posed no issue otherwise. Bellstat wouldn't let me see the running corpse of the king, so unfortunately we had to kill him. This is another fight where the Chime's hitbox showed its true weakness. Unless you are licking his armor, the Chime's not going to hit. I pretty much had to stick to his leg the entire time to hit him, which is easier said than done. When he busts for phase 2, I got a couple of hits on him, and from there, just bait out the Dark Bead, and don't get hit by it, and spam R2. Even with his defense boost, he wasn't a match for getting his knees beaten, which is something that can't be said for a later fight. I'm looking at you, Vendrick. King's Ring in hand, I set my sights for Aldia's Keep. This script is already getting pretty long, and I still have the DLCs to write about, so I'm going to speed up Aldia's Keep and the Dragon Shrine since they are pretty lackluster, so here we go. I kill Lucatiel's brother, pass some Dragon Bones into the main hall, open the secret bonfire, bait out Surprise Trolls 1 and 2, and fight the Guardian Dragon. Lightning destroys any dragon in the Souls games, so you can imagine how this went. For Dragon Area, I grab the special feather, go across the wonky bridge, see Aldia one last time, and after proving my might to the drakes, I get telepathically given the Ashen Mist Heart. Before fighting the Giant Lord, I travel to the 2 memories to get souls for Vendrick later on. Giant Lord, or aka Soul Farm, is weak to both dark and lightning. So, yeah, you can see how it goes. But look at this funny looking guy. Ivory King was first on the chopping block. It's also my least favorite of the 3, so I wanted to get it out of the way early. However, during this run, the DLCs did pose a much bigger threat for a few different reasons. The main one was I'm just a lot less familiar with them than the base game. I've only done the Ivory King 3-ish times from start to finish, and only a couple more times for Sunken King and Iron King. But let's focus on one at a time. The enemies here made the hitbox issue happen again, where I'd have to be inside their cold embrace to hit them. Along the way to the Eye of the Priestess, I pick up the first real damage boost, the Dark Clutch Ring, which boosts my dark damage by 15%. A bit of exploring and lots of patience later, I find the tower and pick up the Priestess's Eye. Ava was quite the problem for me at first. Not only have I only fought this boss a couple times, I had to do it with a small attack hitbox. I got paw swiped a few too many times trying to deal with relearning her attack patterns, but one attempt later, I got the hang of it and shortly followed was victory. I talked to the queen and had her press delete on all the ice to go free some new friends. First up was going through the frozen Sonics and Mages, which people always said sucked, but the only thing that was bad about them was the frame rate. There was one thing that did kind of annoy me here, and that was that stupid Trickster. I kept almost killing him until he ran away just for him to lead me down to some Rancor pit where I got destroyed. Afterwards, I ignored him and his shenanigans and went back down to the pit to kill Snow Java. Past a few more Sonics and some Snow Golems, we saved the first night. The next night only took like 2.5 minutes to just go around some corners and up some stairs, and boom, another one saved. And if not for my stupidity, I would have found the third night a lot faster, but alas, that didn't happen. I went on a wild goose chase just trying to find them, even though he was literally so close to the second one. With all 3 saved, we jumped down to the SmackDown ring to face off against the old Iron King. Throughout this whole fight, I kept getting jumped by the Charred Knights, which would make me use my emergency Estus in a pinch. The first attempt, I almost got him frozen with the Knight, which would have broken the rules, but it would have been funny. Instead, my last friend died, and I left the Pyro Knight alive, which just all resulted in the Ivory King killing me. Second attempt, I don't leave any of the Charred Knights alive, and I have all my Estus for the real fight. I even used one of my 3 Bright Bugs for boosted defense and attack, and I die. What a waste. This isn't even the result of the challenge run, it's just a result in the skill issue. Third attempt was so close, but I got greedy and tried to kill him before his AoE attack, which just resulted in me getting killed. And fourth attempt was another death, as I'm just so bad at dodging these attacks. Fifth attempt, I say whatever and just use another Bright Bug. I wanted to hold off on using them and only use one for each of the final boss of the DLCs, but I needed any help I could get against him. A little over halfway through the fight, I came so close to death, however, the last knight sacrificed himself to give me just enough time to heal. This sacrifice, plus him not going phase 2 until about 25% of his health left, gave me the win. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. The Frigid Outskirts was next, and I have so many feelings for this anime, but I think Fextilife user Anonymous says it best.
No, I don't think I will.
I had a real internal battle with whether I even wanted to do Frigid Outskirts or not, but I ultimately decided I have to do it. But I had to remember where the key was to even get to the Frigid Outskirts first. After wandering around for about 10 minutes, I just looked it up and found where to go. After lighting the 4 scones, I stuck to the left and dropped down to get the key. And let me just state this. Fuck the reindeer. They almost kill me in 3 hits, and they have a fuck ton of health. And later on, I got jumped by 2 of them. Fuck the reindeer. After that one death, I was just so annoyed, I ran through it next try totally legitimately. I only killed Lud and Zalin once, so I fully expected to die to them a couple times, but since they are carbon copies of the Ava fight, and I had already learned that earlier, and their health is less, it wasn't as bad as I was thinking. I had a couple close calls and was put towards defense around half the fight, just dodging and looking for a time to heal, but I was able to take out Lud, and it made Zalin a lot easier to fight. Before this fight, I went to buy repair powder, and thank God I did, because for the first time in the run, the Chime almost broke, and I would have lost it if it broke right through. With Zalin dead, I was finished with the first DLC. The Iron King DLC was next, and since the key wasn't in my path like the Frozen Flowers, I had to go back to the Cardinal Tower and jump into the Fire Zone to pick up the key. I am most familiar with the Broom Tower, so it doesn't take me as long to get through it. The Cat Ring allows you to take farther plunges down, which saves me a small bit of time. The first lower room, you can sneak past the enemies and open the door without them noticing, and with the Cat Ring, we can skip past the enemies and ladders and light the next bonfire. The next lever room can be rushed with a bit of good RNG. The first 2 times I died trying to pull the lever, but the third time we'll get the axe and the chicken wing guys to attack at the same time, which gives me just enough time to pull the lever down and run through the door and jump off the cliff where we can get to the next bonfire. Last thing to grab is the Scorching Iron Scepter, and by heading through the hallway full of fire, lightning, and spikes, and crossing a comically, but large badass chain, I steal the scepter and use it to power up the elevators. A quick trip downward and it was time for Rain. When Rain comes out of the ground, you can get a couple free hits in without worry. When he attacks, dodge to the side and get a hit or 2 on his back. I always assume the 3 or 4 hit combos, as if I don't, I'm usually getting punished. Halfway through the fight, I start getting my shit rocked as a mix of impatience and bad rolls. Like Lud and Zalin, I was put on defense for a small bit, trying to keep dodging and looking for any chance to heal. Luckily, I found my chance, and shortly after, it was over. With rain down, I wanted to go for Sir Alone, leaving the blueberry smelter for last. The memory of the old Iron King is just another bad little run-through. Not even remotely close to how bad the outskirts are, but man, is this bad. However, I do know how to evade the Sir Alone Knights pretty well, so it's a pretty quick run back, just annoying. Sir Alone is another boss I think I've only killed maybe twice, so it's safe to say I'm not super good at this fight. And it shows, because I kept getting hit and I died pretty fast. Second attempt, I died basically straight away, which just pissed me off, so I quit for a couple hours, and later in the night, I hopped back on to give it another try. I also looked him up on Fexalife, and it said to dodge to your right. Motherfucker! With my newfound strategy of dodging to the right, it went so much easier. Just a repeat of dodge and smoke. After an honorable battle, and the only boss left was Blueberry. I already grabbed the key earlier for Sir Alone, so it was a straight path to the Iron Passage. And it wasn't that bad. I definitely had a worse time going through the memory than this. The only memorable thing about Blueberry was the magic instead of fire damage and how his moveset is slightly different, but other than that and one death on my part, it was a pretty quick and easy fight. Now it's time for my favorite DLC, the Sunken King. Ivory King took me about 2 hours and an hour and a half for the Iron King. However, the Sunken King took roughly 40 minutes, so this will go by pretty quick. I get the first bonfire while watching Sin fly off, and I only use a bow to hit the little turn puzzles to lift and lower the various platforms, like the one that leads up to the secret bonfire. Sin owed me a favor, so he clears the bridge off for me, allowing me access into the main tower, which I spend a little time clearing out enemies for no real reason. Continuing down the tower, I'm forced to deal with Thomas, and I break one of my rules by fighting him on the staircase, which results in me almost being killed, but oh well, at least I win. Running past the Imperfect leads to the third bonfire, and from there I can use the Dragonstone to activate the bridge. Going across the bridge leads to the last area and the second secret bonfire. Alana has a starting animation like rain, giving you ample time to deal a couple attacks. Despite her dark resistance cutting my damage in half, she was actually the easiest of all the DLC bosses. She started off with melee and followed up with a summon, which gave me time to get her health down to about half. She then used a couple of magic attacks, but I got close once again and R2'd away. Even though the path to Sin was open, I held off for now and went to go get my last upgrade of the run, the Lightning Clutch Ring. A 15% increase to my lightning damage, so combined together with the Dark Clutch Ring, we have about a 30% damage boost. I need to cross the Gang Squad off my list real quick, and there it's done. I had a sloppy fight with Sin, mainly just getting hit by his charges, but other than that, there's not much to say. I just punish the longer attacks like the breath and stay quick on my toes to dodge his projectiles. Before the final gauntlet, Vendrick remains, and he sucks. The video timeline isn't accurate as I did Vendrick way before the DLCs and the optional bosses, so I didn't have all 5 Giant Souls or my 60 extra damage. Anyway, even at 5 souls, Vendrick is still 50% resistant to dark and 30% resistant to lightning, so my damage is thrown down by 80%. Another bad thing is the hitbox for Vendrick's small legs, plus the Chime's hitbox, which work hand in hand in not letting me able to hit him. However, there is a fix for this. If you remember earlier, I said the R1 can be angled, so by pointing it to the floor, we can deal some damage. Whilst it's slow and tedious, it's simple. Once he's down, only 3 more to go. It's time for the in-game boss rush. I picked up 2 more bright bugs earlier, so I want to show off an example of how good these are and why you should use them. So here's the full Throne Watcher and Defender fight. Yummy bright bugs, right? The shot into the last Daughter of Mass fucked me up a bit. Constant health drain if you don't get rid of the cursed orbs, plus her strong attacks. I fell to around 20% health in this fight twice, and that's with the buff of the bright bug still active. But I just had to lead her away from the cursed orbs and stick behind her to win. And with that, the roam was pretty much over. So, I'll just say my outro while I do the Alvia fight in the background. Once again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching till the end. I'm really proud of this one too. I added a lot of stuff to it this time, learning new things. So pretty much every video I make, new stuff gets, learned. So it's good to expand my horizons, I feel. I already have the next 2 videos semi-recorded. They're kind of... One's already at the end. I just got to finish it. I got really upset at the run because I'm not good at the game that I played. So I kept dying, and I kind of got upset, so I just quit. I will finish it. And the other one is just going to take a while to finish because it's a lot of... I have to do a lot of runs because it's a... I don't want to spoil it, but it's multiple attempts at it. I only get 1 shot per round, per game, so maybe you'll be able to guess what it is, but it's a game that I'm probably my second favorite game other than Dark Souls 1. I'm probably going to have that one out by the end of March, and then this next one, which is an Elden Ring one that I quit on, that I'm going to go back and retry soon. I'll probably have that out next week. Try to, at least. But we'll see if that even happens. I pretty much just worked non-stop on this one these past couple days, script writing, editing. I mean, this one was a lot more footage than any of my other videos. It was about 12, 13 hours. So now I have to do, a lot more editing, which took a lot longer. I pretty much edited for a while yesterday, and I had to finish it up this morning. I'm recording the outro the day this video goes out. So, but either way, I'm happy with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.